All right. So exclusively for Spin Alt and Spin Southwest, my name is Ray Wingnut and I'm talking to you today from Guerrilla Studios in North Strand in Dublin City. And I'm thrilled to be here with Lynched, who after 2 or so years of touring their landmark debut album, Cold Old Fire, are playing an extremely special hometown gig at Vickers Street on Saturday, November 26th. All that information is correct. I'm here with Ian, Rady, Cormac, and Dara. And lads, thanks so much for being here.
Very welcome.
Thanks for having us.
All right, good stuff. So listen, it's a massive gig. It's an end of year gig, big hometown gig. How are you feeling about it?
We can't wait. Yeah, it's going to be mega.
Yeah.
Can't wait for
nervous, but
Yeah.
Are you nervous at this stage?
tiny bit. I think
Probably
the
just
nerves
'cause-
are gone, and then just it sometimes just creeps up.
Yeah.
It's something about it being at home as well, and just Vicar Street and kind of what that venue means to you, having grown up here, and kind of who you would have gone to see there.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think
to
that's
them
the beauty
players.
of this gig, is that it really has that sense of occasion, you know?
Yeah, the thing I'm most excited about is the fact that all my family is going to be there. So there's going to be like a higher than average amount of heckling going on, I reckon.
Yeah, I know.
Just have
my
our
family
wits
bought
about
tickets
us.
as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you want, yeah.
But no, but I think it is one of those gigs, because I think that, like, let's say you're after a very special 2 years or more since the album came out, you know, and I think it has that thing of just galvanizing that relationship of yourself and people who've supported you and people who have just, you know, loved your music and stuff like that, and seeing you go out into the big bad world and have, like, you know, and you just get recognition, like, you know what I mean. So it's just that thing of, after 2 special years. Like, I really want to give props to the Arts Council, like, you know what I mean? I think, you know, 2 years after throwing you that grant to make the album,
Absolutely.
I don't think they even knew themselves the kind of money's worth that they were getting. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Paul
Yeah.
Flynn.
Yeah?
Paul Flynn, the Arts Council, yeah, he's the man. I suppose if it wasn't for that, we would be nowhere here now. You know, we were only looking to get 500 CDs done and thought we were being cheeky by doing 1,000. And, you know, still convinced we'd have them all under our beds at this stage. But, yeah, it's done well. It's onto its 4th pressing now. So they're still flying now.
Go away.
So, yeah.
Brilliant. So listen, let's talk about the success of the last 2 years. So just what's it been like for you? How would you kind of describe the last 2 years as a journey for all of you guys?
Surreal.
Very
Yeah.
surreal. Yeah.
Unpredictable, mental, and also just like you don't usually know what's happening, like even a month before it happens, kind of thing. So it's all very kind of just kind of play it by ear, you know. But yeah, if you had told us like 2 years ago what was going to happen to us in the next 2 years, we probably wouldn't have believed you, you know. So
Yeah, it's insane. Hanging around with Christy Moore, hanging around with like Martin Carthy, going on Jules Holland, all these
Playing the Royal Albert Hall.
playing the Albert Hall. It's insane.
class.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
It's so much in 2 years. It's
Yeah. But that's the interesting thing about the thing about the gig in Vicar Street is that a lot of it has happened kind of outside of Dublin and outside of Ireland, which is why it's really nice to be coming back and to be playing a big gig here, because like we did loads of gigs there kind of in the UK and stuff, and we had our first Irish gig in ages was the Other Voices one in Electric Picnic, and there was just like I felt there was a lovely feeling about it, because it was like, oh great, Irish audiences, they get all our jokes. Like,
Yeah. And I think like maybe it doesn't dawn on you as well that for an Irish audience to see you appear on something like Jules Holland, like my heart was bursting, like, you know what I mean?
man,
It's the
I-
closest thing that, like, watching my local club in
Yeah,
football
yeah.
playing in the Champions League final.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
I was getting emails off old mates of mine that I went to school with saying like, I just wanted to let you know, oh yeah, I got I just had a like burst of pride watching you on TV and all, like people who were in no way like nationalistic or anything were like, bizarrely just felt really proud to be Irish or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Kinda nice.
For me, it was kind of mental because I probably am the longest fan of that show amongst the 4 of us. I'm not sure, but like I was the one that was like harboured this weird kind of teenage desire to be on the show. But also because like I've played kind of traditional or folk music most of my life, and I've watched it be kind of perceived in different ways. You know what I mean? Like as I'm kind of growing up and being a teenager, being in my early 20s or whatever. For me, it was totally surreal to be like, Jesus, I'm playing Tin Whistle on Jules Holland. Like, how did that happen? You know?
You see, this is, and I'd be absolutely right beside you in the sense that, like, I've just pure reverence for that show. Everything that it stands for, the way they
Yeah.
treat music, the way they treat musicians, the way they position musicians together, it's extraordinary. So, can I find out about, like, how did you find out that you were going to be on there? Because, like, it was bubbling here, and everyone who is in the know was just like, oh, Lynched, they're just amazing, and they're really cool, and they're really. And next thing, out of nowhere, you were on Jewel Talent. So, like, did you get a call, or did you get, like, were you represented by a manager, or did you apply for it? What's the story there?
We got an email.
Yeah, it was basically an email. So, yeah, you're on in 3 weeks' time.
Yeah, it was no
I
notice
hope
as
you're
well.
free on this day because you.
But where's the hookup? Like,
We knew we were going on tour in November. So what was this, September, October? We knew we had a tour already booked for November. So we did the thing where you just send out CDs to everyone on radio stations and kind of like as much publicity as possible.
Yeah, because we'd never played really. We'd never played in England, so we were like, oh, we better like try get people knowing the name at least, you know.
Yes, we just fire out, try and get as much publicity as possible. And whatever way, the CD ended up in, what's your man's name, the producer?
Mark Cooper.
Mark Cooper ended up with a copy of it. And he was chatting to us in backstage before we went on. And he said one of the reasons actually is that there's an incredible string band cover on the album, and he's a big fan of them, and he was like, oh. So then he listened to it and was mad about it, and that was that.
so you posted it directly to the producer? Was that how it came about?
No, there's a lad over in England that really sound lad actually, but he kind of does a lot of that for us.
Yeah.
So like we kind of sent him all our
a
stuff
few
and
boxes, and then he
yeah.
got them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sent him
yeah.
a
Roy
full
Hands,
box. I
obviously.
think I
Yeah.
sent him like 30 CDs in the post or something.
Yeah. And then
Members.
how did you react when you got that email? Like, I mean,
Well, he initially said, there'd be a chance, but not hold our breath. So I don't think
don't
anyone
hold
was
your breath.
like-
I'm gonna chance it.
And then got the email, and it was, ridiculous.
okay, so you go into BBC Studios, you're going to meet Jules, you're going to be on later, you're doing the live session on the Tuesday night. Was that it?
Was it Tuesday?
Yeah, the live session,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
it
yeah.
went out on the Friday,
Yeah.
the
It went
longer
down on the
version.
Friday. So what was that like, sitting in the studio with Burt Bacharach and Slayford Mods
I was-
all in one room?
Bonkers.
Insane. It was so
It's
strange.
bizarre, yeah. You have to just pretend that it's not going on just to get through it. You know, just kind of block it all out, and you're going, right, it's all good, it's all good. And then afterwards, you're just going,
Like,
What's
I'd say
going on?
adrenaline wise, it's the equivalent to doing like skydiving or something. Because actually,
Oh,
your
yeah.
body just starts to go like mental, and you have to kind of keep it under wraps so that you don't freak out. Like,
I became very aware of my own existence. That
yeah,
was the-
yeah, painfully
and,
aware.
but it was like after I think the second thing we did, I managed to calm down, then just kind of enjoy it. But initially, it
Yeah,
was
the way they do it is they film so there's the Friday show, and they film that before the live show. So you've actually filmed 2 songs already,
Yeah.
or
Which I
Which I
whatever
think is
amount.
really smart
Yeah.
way to do it,
Very
because it
good.
means by
Clever.
the time you're going live, you're a bit more sort of chilled out.
And as
Yeah.
well, we were the only band to do our sound check that day, because usually they get the bands in the day before, but they knew that we couldn't afford a hotel, so they brought us in that day to get the sound check done. So we're sitting in the same studio all day, sound checking over and over, practicing the
Yeah.
songs over and over again. So actually, by the time it got to the live filming, we'd kind of been through it so many times that
Yeah.
we had it down.
What's it like, the studio?
It's just like
Really
a big
cool.
warehouse, basically. It's strange, kind of like it looks very different to the way it looks on TV. Like the way it looks on TV is amazing, and whoever set it up is obviously very good at it. But when you're there, you're just looking around. It's just like it's like a hangar or something. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
There-
of course, this is an absolute game changer for you as a group.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so we did the tour like the next month in November, and a lot of gigs were packed out, and there was obviously people coming up afterwards. Oh, I saw you on Jules Holland, and that's kind of like, I reckon if we hadn't have been on that, I don't know, it probably would have been empty, or like a quarter full or half full. Most of them were packed out.
Yeah. And I think everybody, like, it was the same with like watching it from here in Dublin. I think everybody knew as well, like, what this meant. You know what I mean? Everybody knew straight away that, like, it's an absolute game changer and things are just going to go up and up and up. And then, of course, like, you played the Royal Albert Hall in what month was that?
That was
May,
April.
was it? April.
Yeah.
Just to make it even more surreal again.
Oh yeah.
I think the only thing that kept it all in reality was Cormac wearing the Jimmy Cake T-shirt.
Yeah,
yeah, represent.
yeah.
yeah.
Jeff, this is actually happening.
Yeah, we
yeah,
haven't lost our minds. Again,
Yeah.
that thing of being aware of your own existence. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ian
Oh,
and Dara's
sure.
parents kept us sane.
Oh yeah,
as
my
well.
man Dower up on the balcony waving at us.
Familiar faces. It was very important.
Yeah.
That's bizarre. Sure. Yeah, just saying, keeping yourself in reality. There's a mate of mine who he saw Mick Wallace wore one of our T-shirts in the Dáil, and he put a tweet. He tweeted about it, and it's like, oh, Lynched, the best drone folk, blah blah band around in the Dáil. And so we shared that on Facebook a bit, and a mate of mine just said, I told you, lads, we're living in a simulation. This is like, this is just bonkers.
So I think that's really interesting in terms of like that definition of success, you know. So let's say like when you were playing in hardcore bands or you're playing in metal bands or growing up and, you know, singing in sessions and stuff like that, like I'm sure there's absolutely no way that he would have thought, do you know what, if I really play my cards right here now, I might play the Royal Albert Hall sometime, you know.
Just can't make that shit up, like, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, like, I mean, what is success to Lynched at this stage? When you have, like, let's say, I don't know, what can I say? Like, you're on a roll, like the train going over our head. Like, you know what I mean? What is success to you guys?
I don't think any of us have ever either envisioned success or thought about what that is or how to get there. The only thing we ever really care about is, like, making stuff we think sounds good. So like we're recording the next album now in a couple of weeks and that's the focus now. It's not about whether it's successful, it's about whether you can stand by it as a document of what you're into and what you sounded like at the time, and stand by it as a true document of what's going on with you. That's, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably safe to say for all four of us that we'd be much happier even if we were just playing gigs that 4 people came to and we were playing music that we were very happy with, than packing out places and playing music that we weren't happy with, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, we never expected that. Like, we never expected the kind of popularity and that kind of just shooting up. So,
and like it's an amazing thing, and it's surreal to watch, and it's very interesting. But it's not the goal, and it's not the reason. You know what I mean? And that hasn't changed. So like, it's fascinating to watch. And
it is
hilarious.
It sounds like you're even watching it from like aware of your
Well, it's the same
own
for us. You know, you're there saying like, "Is this actually happening?" Like, but that's happening for us the whole time. Except we have to actually do it. Then you know what I mean? Like, you have to actually sing the song. Then
become a common phrase, isn't it?
yeah. Oh, it's totally bizarre. Like,
No, but and I think
Who are we? What's going on?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but that's the thing.
reality gets so weird.
It seems like you even find it hilarious yourselves sometimes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All the time.
Yeah. So like, I mean, but within that, then do you think success will ever come with a compromise or something like that? You know, like I was talking to you there about there's a major broadcasting institution in Ireland, and you had end direct provision written on your guitar while you were performing there, and there was a stage manager going, we can't show that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when, let's say, I know you've stated like collectively before that you know you stand by marginalized people and you're a band with principles and integrity and you want to put a message out there and stuff like that. Do you think that success will ever put you in a position that's compromising that or compromising you as a group?
I'd imagine if you want to stay on the same trajectory maybe that we've enjoyed over the last year or two, you probably, you know, at some certain stage you're going to have to start compromising yourself to somebody else's ideals, what somebody else wants you to be. We haven't had to do that at all. Yeah, we've managed to get, you know, wherever we're at now, we've managed to get here by just being ourselves and, you know, not having to compromise any of that kind of stuff. So, I mean, we'll see how it goes, you know, but I don't think it'd be worth it, you know.
Again, I remember you telling a story on stage like you were playing in a church during the year. I think it was the Pepper Canister Church, and you talked about meeting a folk luminary from Ireland. Yeah. And can you tell that story?
Well, yeah, I was chatting to him about gigs and churches. That's the one, yeah. And he was saying to me, "Oh no, Ian, do you enjoy playing gigs and churches yourself?" And I said, I do actually. Yeah, I do enjoy gigs and churches because you know that the acoustics are always really good and the sound's always great." And he goes, "Oh yeah, well no, I've played a few gigs and churches myself, but to be honest, I'd rather be burning the things down than singing in them." Which I thought was
his language not slightly more colourful.
Maybe it was, but yeah, we'll leave it at that.
but you had to tell the story.
Exactly,
in the church, yeah. And of course,
hilarious.
Like, I mean, like it must be really exciting, I think, for your heroes, just like the hero like you were describing there, and people like in the Irish Traditional Music Archive, like here in Dublin, like to see succeed and to see bring the message to a whole new audience. So it must be pretty thrilling to come home to the likes of them and to play to them on the 26th of November and say, look what we're doing, you know what I mean? Because there is such a creative collective here at these sessions in Dublin and stuff like that.
That's what I was going to say. You're saying, like, look what we're doing. I don't think it's us that's doing. I think we're an example of a very kind of vibrant, healthy, broader scene, you know, and yeah, like maybe, you know, you can take us as kind of, maybe we've been on kind of more mainstream telly shows or something, but I think we're just indicative maybe of a very thriving scene. Maybe not, actually, no, I don't know if that's entirely true, because we don't really sound, we have our own kind of way of doing things as well, but
No, but I think you can draw comparisons. I think, you know, with some of your heroes and stuff like that. Like I think he obviously working as part of a collective and going to sessions like in the Cobblestone or in the Teachers Club and stuff like this, and that's amazing, taking that and putting it on a bigger level. But do you think? I mean, let's say you would have cited Planksty as heroes before, and when you think of what they did, was they just revitalized traditional music for a new audience. You know what I mean? And, you know, do you think for a second, like, do you know, that's what's actually happening here and now? Lynched are taking traditional music and they've put it on a platform again that's huge and it's bigger.
I don't know. I kind of find it impossible to think of myself in that way. As a way, I'd obviously look at Planksty as that, like, oh my God, they're legends. They did this, and they're absolutely fantastic musicians. And I don't find it very easy to be able to look at what we're doing in the same
I can
way.
imagine.
We don't have any such delusions of
yeah, I'd say that's
grandeur.
a dangerous road to go down as well.
Yeah,
Like
you
viewing
start thinking
yourself
of
in that
yourself
way.
like that, you're screwed.
Yeah.
I know, yeah. Well, I'll make the half-baked comparison as a casual observer, so we'll leave it as that. So let's see. So yeah, but how do you feel about that that thing of bringing music to a new audience and stuff like that? Is that a major buzz for you?
Interesting to see, like, for example, what the really proper kind of mainstream public that wouldn't have any particular interest in folk or traditional music of any kind. Very interesting to see what they were saying on like Twitter and stuff after Jill's Holland. It was kind of eye-opening because you live in, well, you know, a friend of ours refers to it as the sound ghetto. Where everyone's really sound, and you know, it's just great. And then, you know, it's interesting to see, because it's a chance to see yourself from outside eyes, basically, through what people are saying. And some of it was really good, and some of it was really kind of mad. Like,
what do you mean?
well, there's a bit of kind of casual racism going on, like being like, oh, you know, oh yeah, I might like them maybe down in the pub, or like most depressed group of paddies I've ever seen in my life and stuff. But you know, like some of it was funny as well. Like our favourite one was well, there was one about Ian's teeth, him having expensive teeth, and what did he do to his ear because he has tattoos in his ear. And then there was one saying that the Corrs have really let themselves go.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, it was very funny.
I like that one.
But it was like they're all the kind of more extreme ones. But it was very interesting to see like what the like proper general public see that as, you know, and yeah.
But getting back to your question, I suppose there is quite a lot of people that come to our gigs that would freely admit that they would never go to see a folk band or a traditional band. People from the metal scene or the punk scene, or just people from any kind of walk of life that wouldn't usually go to see that kind of music, and they're coming to it, and I think finding an appreciation for that kind of music. So, you know, when that does happen, I think it's kind of the best part of it for us. So you really are, you're bringing it outside of the ghetto that you live in and that you operate in and that you exist in, and bringing it outside of that. And, you know, bringing like people learn an appreciation of the music, and then they look into it a bit deeper then, or maybe see it in a different kind of way, you know. So
yeah. And again, like maybe this is a question that again you're probably too close to answer, but let's say, just going back to what I was saying about when Planksty revitalised traditional music and reinvented it, or even going before that, and you'd have Sean O'Riordan who reinvented and everything like that. And let's say, like many people with GC now as kind of flag bearers as well, of just a new wave of traditional musicians, you know what I mean? I think that's something to be very proud of. But is there a reason why that universal thing of coming back to folk music, it always cries out to people? That it'll always be revitalized. It will always be vital in and of itself. Like, you know what I mean? Is there a reason why everyone goes back to it?
I've actually been thinking about that a lot recently. I haven't got an answer for you yet. I'll let you know. But,
good stuff.
No, I've been reading a lot about the British folk scene at the moment, actually, and how that all kicked off in the 50s and 60s. And it's absolutely fascinating. And all the parallels then between America, there was similar things going on. And then how the American musicians went to England and started playing the folk clubs, and then how the likes of the Dubliners and Planksty and that were inspired by the British folk revival, and the whole, like, it's all kind of connected in that way. But Yeah, I don't know what it is. There's something about it, definitely, that people kind of.
It seems like when there's a general disillusionment with popular culture and in society, people look back to their roots and they look back to the past to find something that they feel is a bit deeper or has a bit more meaning to it, you know. And like you said, most generations would have their own version of that.
Yeah.
Certainly in this country, anyway.
Yeah. And even, you know, the Joe Strummer thing where, like, when he was hanging up his boots, he was just lighting fires in campfires or, you know, in campsites and just singing folk songs in Spain and stuff just for years, like just driving around and said, this is where I actually, this is where I feel best and this is where I need to play. Like, you know what I mean?
Huh.
Just kind of bringing it all back home to quote that one, I suppose.
Like your man from ABBA as well, apparently.
Yeah. The
Go
guy,
away.
Bjorn from ABBA, yeah.
Who makes something like 60 grand a day, like from royalties because of Mamma Mia and all that stuff. Apparently just plays accordion in like a polka
Plays
band.
polskas and stuff, Swedish trad tunes. That's all he wants to do.
No,
Grand.
see,
He has
that's
the
that
wherewithal to do it.
universality I was going
There
for.
you
like, but no, let's say, well, we touched on it there about you guys making like protest music and stuff like that. So let's say from back in the day, like I know Ian, you used to play in like hardcore bands and stuff like that. You used to tour back
played
in
in
the
a
day.
good few over the years, yeah.
Yeah. And like, do you think that protest music, let's say when it is coming from a folk standpoint, is coming from the same place within you and stuff like that?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, it's a bit mellower. You're not, you know, when you're 17 and you're playing a hardcore band, you're screaming your head off, and everything's very black and white, and it's just like, fuck this, you know, this is good, this is bad, don't do this, do this, do that. But as you grow up and, you know, you become a bit more aware of the different shades of grey and different shades of colour to things. Everything is not that simple, and, you know, things become a bit more nuanced and you mellow out a little bit. But I mean, there's still, the viewpoint is still there, and I think, like, you know, folk music as a vehicle for protest, I mean, something that's always been around. You know, it's something a kind of a means by which anyone can express themselves through, you know, the kind of simplistic nature of the kind of folk song. You know, it's kind of accessible to anybody to use as they want.
I also think as well, I think that protest through folk music, it's a bit more, you can sneak it into circumstances that wouldn't have allowed, let's say, a hardcore band. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like there's
Like singing
kind of,
Sergeant William Bailey in the Albert Hall.
yeah, we sang it like an anti-recruitment song against like you know, like kind of basically ridiculing like an English army recruiting sergeant in Dublin. You know,
And by
but
extension, the British Empire.
in the Royal Albert
The heart
Hall,
of the
or
British
even
Empire.
like
No, and that was a moment. Like, that was a
Yeah.
real moment. you
yeah.
know? It
And
was
even
huge.
like singing, like, you know, and Jules Holland was like anti-war songs and stuff, you know, and there's like kind of like totally strong message. And that's the way with a lot of the old songs, like really strong messages in it. And there's something to do with it being folk music. It's like sneak attack. They just,
Yeah.
they don't question. They let you do it on things that I don't think you would. I think you would be more censored, to be honest, if you were in kind of a more...
You wouldn't get on it in the first place.
No,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
wouldn't.
You know?
So
And then you wear your Jimmy Cake t-shirt and you got the subliminal, the liminal,
exactly.
the full
Yeah.
level subversion
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
Like, you know
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? All right. Bringing the whole system down. That's the job. And so,
Yeah.
let's you mentioned there, like, being in the what you call or your friend called the sound ghetto, right? I really like that phrase, first of all. But and of course, like Lynched are a really, really visual band. You know what I mean? You're all very good-looking people and stuff like that. But besides all that, you've got like, I mean, your artwork is gorgeous on the album and on the t-shirts and stuff like that. But then you're making these videos that are really, really interesting. Like I only saw the one the other night with Owen Wheelahan.
Oh, yeah.
The animation
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
floored me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great video.
Can you tell us about the kind of videos that you've made and the people you've worked with?
Well, we did that one with Owen.
Wheels.
Yeah, Wheels. And one with one that ended up being much longer than it was originally meant to be with Luke McManus as well. So that was an actual kind of like almost mini film. It ended up as
Cold Old Fire,
yeah,
yeah.
for Cold Old Fire. Where we all kind of the premise was that we were at a wake. And we kind of had a bit of a day out, a bit like we were at a wake, except it wasn't, you know, no one had died. But yeah, those are the only two that I can think of at the moment. We've done some fairly interesting promotional videos as well. One was directed by Ian's son, Lou, who was 8 at the time.
7.
Oh,
7.
Yeah.
It was for Temple Bar Trad Fest, but they didn't like it, so they just
Well, they
ignored
never said
it.
they didn't like it. They didn't even.
They-
They
yeah,
never
that's
said-
true.
They
That's
asked for a
true, but
video
we-
and we
we
sent them
sent
this,
them.
and it was just like
Yeah.
tumbleweeds.
It's a pretty strange and creepy video anyway. But
Yeah.
But do you tie that in the music in the sense that, I mean, like so many of your songs are about telling stories and stuff like that, and do you see the visual as a huge part of that? It all ties in together, like.
Yeah, I think so. I would anyway. I've always been very interested in art and illustration and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean that's kind of one of the things that a lot of people have said actually about the Cold All Fire album. Is one of the most striking things about it as well is the actual cover of it, which was done by Glenn up in Belfast, a friend of ours.
Yeah, his company name is Stag and Serpent. He's amazing. Like, he does a lot of things for metal bands, you know, and possibly you can see that in the artwork. It was important to us to like kind of have something that actually reflected the music as well, though. I think weirdly in trad and folk, sometimes I don't know if people. Well, I don't know, but it seems like the aesthetic of the actual kind of the actual CD or kind of physical object isn't as focused on as in other genres. You know, like it seems to be kind of like a bit more
of a second thought or whatever.
Yeah, or generic or kind of. I'm not sure what the word I'm looking for is, but I don't think it's as important, let's say, as other genres where maybe they're like both their physical image, but also their kind of like, you know, artistic image or whatever is more to the forefront or whatever. But yeah, we really like Glenn's artwork, and there was no question when we were doing that album who we'd get to do it.
I think especially these days, if you want to make something like a actual physical object that people will buy, as opposed to just downloading MP3s or whatever, like you want to make it as attractive and interesting as possible, you know. And I suppose that's just,
it has to be an artifact. Like,
exactly, yeah, an artifact and something that you want to have and, you know, put it up on your shelf.
Yeah.
So we had the whole like hand folded covers and all, you know, made from Stumptown printers over in Portland and all that kind of thing. So yeah, it would be very important to us, you know, to keep that like as integral as the music itself as well. You know, it's all part of the same thing, really.
Yeah, and of course that process is I presume is all going to kick off now again when you're talking about recording a new album and stuff like that.
Yeah, we already had we met Glenn for lunch there 2-3 days ago.
Brilliant.
To chat about kind of flesh out a few ideas or whatever.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the artwork for that.
Amazing.
It'll be great.
So in some ways, like this gig on the 26th, sorry, is it's kind of like maybe the end of a chapter. Would I be fair in saying that? Like, you know, it's a chapter and let's say the start of a new one with the new album and stuff like that.
Strangely enough, I was actually saying that exact thing to Rady today, but more in the sense that we're very excited about maybe putting new stuff together, and like maybe this gig will be a chance to like, sort of play all the stuff that we have been for the last couple of years, and afterwards just go for gold, hopefully, on a load of new stuff.
Yeah. Well, listen, I can't wait for the gig. It's going to be special. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And thanks a million. Listen, we better give shout outs to Spud, man.
Listen, Spuds.
Yeah.
The man.
The next
proprietor of this fine establishment here. We're under the railway line. We're in kind of like a nuclear bunker in North Strand, in Guerrilla Studios. Shout out to Thom McDermott, the man on the cameras as well. And you're going to play a tune for us?
We are, yeah.
What are you going to play?
We're playing...
What will we do when we have no money?
Yeah.
Awesome.